Here on the Woodward Sports Network, Shad chiming in. He says, if I had 3 wishes.
man of wisdom.
Shad, he is a man of wisdom. He says, if I had 3 wishes, I would wish to be 6'7", become the luckiest person in the universe, and to no ball like Lucas Klotz.
Wow. He's a good man. He's a good man.
That's quite the wish.
Shad's a good man.
See, a lot of us can wish to no ball, but you just can't quite get to the level Lucas Klotz.
You can't call the Sam Howell leading the NFC in passing yards 2 weeks before the season starts.
No, and the C.J. Stroud stuff, we'll just kind of throw that.
I was wrong about that.
Hey, it's okay. It's all good.
C.J. Stroud has turned me into a fan at this point.
Yeah.
I had him.
Is he really?
I had him and Tank Dell stacked in my fantasy lineup this week, and I still somehow lost.
Would you admit that he's got that dog in him?
C.J. Stroud, you go down the field in 41 seconds as a rookie with no timeouts and throw 5 touchdowns. Okay. That is the best rookie performance a quarterback has ever had in NFL history, without a doubt. Especially the Buccaneers have a solid defense. Dameon Pierce has been horrific this year. He's been nothing like he was last year. He has no run game. They're leaning on Devin Singletary at this point. I mean, Noah Brown had a 75-yard touchdown. Shout out another Buckeye, but got to give CJ all of his props. I was dead wrong about him.
Shout out Nico Collins, too.
Yeah, Nico had a touchdown.
1,000-yard season loading.
I remember that was the biggest thing with Lucas Klotz is after that Georgia game, he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I got to see it. And I was like, Lucas, he torched the best defense in football.
He did.
In college football. But I'm glad you came around. Hey, we're all wrong. It happens.
Shout out Noah Ruggle.
I picked the Broncos to win 10 games. How's that aging? You know what I mean? But who cares? We got Broder with us.
Poorly.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna be wrong a lot in this business, but hey, you know who's never wrong is Matt Broder. Woodward nights 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. with our guy Booner as well. Those guys do great work. But number one, Broder, thank you for joining the show. It is Tuesdays with Matt Broder. How's your bye week been? Number one. I mean, if you get a week off, dude, you're gonna go 16 straight. You know, they're gonna got a lot of to go the rest of the season. But how you feeling? With the
great. It was a weird weekend. It was fun actually being able to watch football on Sunday. You know, Stick had all of us over, so we were watching the 1:00 games, and it was great. But I've been itching to get back into Lions, get some new Lions content out there. So it's exciting now. We get to go play the Chargers on Sunday, and the Lions are getting some guys back. They're getting healthy.
Yeah. By the way, when's Woodward and Maine back?
Sunday. So we're doing a game preview Sunday morning, and then we do the game recap Tuesday morning. So we're getting back on the normal schedule.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
I want to ask you first thing. Dan Campbell met with the media. Could you give us an update on some of the guys coming back after the bye week? I mean, we assume David Montgomery is going to be a little more healthy, but some guys that are injured, David, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and we're going to learn more today when they actually have practice. Yesterday, Dan Campbell said they were just getting the guys out and moving. You know, everyone kind of went home. They went back to see their family wherever they're located, or just taking some time off. So they got back, they got moving. But he was very optimistic. It sounded like talking about Frank Ragnow, talking about Jonah Jackson, and David Montgomery, which are really the 3 key names that I was looking for of who's going to come back from the bye week healthy, or who are they going to get back, inch a little closer to getting back to game ready. It sounds like, and it's not confirmed yet, it sounds like Frank Ragnow and Jonah Jackson and David Montgomery will be back. And that's huge.
That's huge, as Trump would say.
Huge. Absolutely huge. All right, Matt Broder, since we only get to talk to you on Tuesday, I kind of want to give you a bit of a question for the Lions versus the Chargers. So to me, the Chargers obviously got a big 21-point win at New York, even though it's a bad New York Jets offense. That can't be, I would say, that was a very solid win for them. But I think it also exposed that their offense has some holes. I mean, Justin Herbert played like shit, and quiet as kept, the New York Jets got after him too. They sacked Justin Herbert 5 times playing against that pretty bad Los Angeles Chargers offensive line, sans Rashawn Slater. So is there anything that you think the Lions can take away from that game so that maybe they can frustrate Justin Herbert and that Chargers offense?
Yeah, I think you saw the importance of getting pressure on Justin Herbert, making it as difficult as possible. If he's a little bit injured, he's not as mobile, and Justin Herbert is pretty good getting out of the pocket, moving his feet, and making plays, especially with guys like Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson downfield. So you want to make sure you're getting pressure on him, keeping him in the pocket, and making him make decisions kind of early in his quarterback clock, so guys like Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs can stay close, or as close as possible, to Keenan Allen, to those weapons downfield. And then having a guy like Brian Branch, patrolling Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield. Eckler is one of those guys, he could have 25 yards, he could have 175 yards, but he might get 2 touchdowns regardless. So you just got to make sure you know where he is, especially in the red zone. I think last night he had 2 touchdowns, both like under 2 yards.
And they tried to keep him out.
Yeah.
Like he had like 2 and they called it back, he got another one.
Yeah, it was wild. So they're definitely vulnerable. It was it was eye-opening to see their defense play that way, although it is the New York Jets offense. But seeing them come away with a big defensive win like that is not, I don't want to say not a good thing for the Lions, but something to be wary of. We don't want them to be clicking, just like Dan Campbell talked about yesterday. We want to see the team, clicking on all cylinders going into December. We don't want to see the Chargers offense and defense clicking at the same time. And they had a special teams touchdown, that big punt return early in the game. So they're starting to figure things out. I don't have faith in Brandon Staley, but you never know a team like that. We know they got weapons. We know they got Justin Herbert, who any day could be an MVP candidate. So it's going to be no easy task on Sunday.
And look at the backfield for the Detroit Lions, too. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. It's been the Jahmyr Gibbs show over the last couple of weeks. And I know Dan kind of spoke about it a little yesterday, but in your mind, how do you envision this backfield looks moving forward? Is it, I know before it was more 70-30, 60-40, David to Jahmyr. You think it'll be more of a 50-50? How do you envision it moving forward with touches?
I still think that from it's a little harder from a touches standpoint, but from rushing, from getting rushes, I still think David Montgomery might be in that 60-40 range. They're still going to use him to sort of set the tone. Maybe use him more in the first half. Let him get that ground game going, get their identity built in the game early, and then use Jahmyr Gibbs maybe a little bit fresher in the second half, using his speed, using his versatility to make things happen. But no, it did seem like Dan Campbell was committed to, unlike what we saw at the beginning of the season, committed to really getting them both touches in more creative ways. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, they see how valuable he can be when he is touching the ball. And now, so with David Montgomery, this is where Ben Johnson, this is where he's going to earn his head coaching job. How's he going to use these two together moving forward? This will be the first time, too, assuming everyone's healthy on Sunday, assuming these offensive linemen are healthy, that all these weapons on offense are going to be healthy for Jared Goff and at his disposal. Talking David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams and possibly Donovan Peoples-Jones. And, they're talking about getting Khalif Raymond more involved. This is the first time they've all been out there together. It'll be interesting to see how Ben Johnson uses everybody.
I would go as far as to say it might be an interview for Ben Johnson, a live interview.
100%.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, they're going Kellen Moore. I know everybody says Ben Johnson to LA, but they're going with Kellen Moore.
But just remember, guys, and I kind of alluded to it a little bit in the beginning, if the Chargers keep winning and the defense improves, maybe they won't even fire Brandon Staley. Whether they should or shouldn't, it's not my call. I'm just saying that Brandon Staley has done, I think, some work into maybe saving his job. But that kind of leads me to my next point. So the Chargers, they started off the season obviously slow, 2-4, but they're kind of in the process, I would say, of attempting to save their season. And if they probably look at it, a home game against the Detroit Lions, if we win this game, we are in a very, very good spot. So do you think there's any credence to the Lions maybe having a tougher challenge because the Chargers are a little bit desperate and have everything to play for?
Yeah, definitely. And I think regardless, this is a game, this is one of the few games left on the calendar that many people and maybe even the Lions felt like this is going to be one of the tougher tests in the second half of the season. Whether it's this and the Cowboys, or maybe you throw the Saints in New Orleans on that list. But this is one, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think we all sort of maybe didn't circle it, but thought about this game earlier in the season as one that it's a trap game. It's your only West Coast game. The Chargers, you never know what you're going to get, but they do have some firepower there to beat the Lions. So you're right. It's definitely one of those where you might be getting their best effort of the season too, because they're right in that sort of a Bengals territory of trying to take that next step into contending for the rest of the season. They know they got the people. It just hasn't worked out for them yet. So the Lions, despite being after a bye week and getting a little bit of rest, they got to go to LA. And I think they travel there on Saturday, which was something that kind of surprised me. I don't know. I just thought maybe they'd be getting down there a little bit early, get used to the time zone and playing a 4:25 game. That's when it is, right, on Sunday?
Yeah.
So getting used to the time zone. But no, they're going to be practicing all week and heading down there Saturday. So I expect it to be a pretty good game. I don't think either team is gonna really blow the other one out. It might be a little closer than Detroit fans would like.
Yeah, their back's up against the wall, Lucas. Bad. 4-4 in that AFC. They got to win.
Especially with how the Bills are playing right now. They have an opportunity to kind of take it over. But, Broder, when you look at this Chargers offensive line, we talked about Rashawn Slater, but you move to the interior of it. It's very, very below mid. I wouldn't even say it's average. It's bad. So when you look, Hutch is going to have his hands full. He's probably still going to get double teamed and chipped. Who do you think defensively for the Lions on the interior needs to step up? I know we've seen Aleem McNeil really been stepping up as far as getting to the quarterback, but do you think anybody else outside of Aleem and Hutch will step up this game?
Yeah, well, Aleem's been playing great, so he's definitely an obvious choice for getting more pressure up the middle, and maybe you move Aiden Hutchinson in every couple of snaps into the inside, but maybe this is the time where we start to see Broderick Martin break out. I know he's not expected to be that pass rusher, but if he can get in there and clog some holes and sort of stop Austin Eckler in that run game early, that could be huge. I always like, and I know Jeff is going to like this, I want to see a breakout game from Josh Paschal. I want to see him dominate more from that interior position. He's been talked about a lot. He's very versatile. He can play the edge or rush up the middle. I want to see him fully healthy. I'm hoping he's one of those guys. He played in the Las Vegas game, but he's just had nagging injuries all season. I want to see him healthy. I want to see him make a difference. So that's who I'll go with. Josh Paschal. Let's have a difference. Let's make a difference on Sunday.
Unleash Paschal.
Yes.
Free Josh Paschal.
Free Josh Paschal. I want to ask you, Broder, too, big picture. Because after the trade deadline, I know a lot of people were like, man, this team has got no chance. This team had no chance. Overreactions were funny. But I want to ask you,
I know what you're talking about.
How important is it, in your mind, for the Lions to try? I know it's important, but give me how much importance is it to get that 1 seed at this point, to have all roads go through Detroit?
I think it's huge.
Okay.
I think it's huge. I don't think it's
like 1 seed or bust. But
yeah, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I think they definitely need to go for that 2 seed. Hosting a playoff game or 2 at Ford Field would be awesome. But getting that guarantee of 2 playoff games, getting that 1st seed, and making sure that you don't have to go to Philly in January, I think is massive. I mean, we all know and we all expect what Ford Field would feel like for any playoff game, whether it's the first round playing a wild card team or the NFC Championship game. That's got to be the goal, and I think that's what the wins earlier in the season. This game, like, they don't want to lose any game because later in the season they're playing the NFC North teams who are struggling, but they don't want to have to give their full effort in Week 18. They need to be able to get that 1st or 2nd seed to really make a deep run. I think so. I don't know, man. I think they're contenders regardless, but getting that number 1 seed is huge.
All right, Broder. So I'm going to shift gears just a little bit because we haven't even talked about it on the show at all. As a fellow fine Michigan man, how good did it feel to watch Michigan State take that ass whooping to James Madison at home yesterday? You guys thought I wouldn't talk about it. And you know what? In all the group chats, I didn't give Spencer Raxter a hard time at all. I really didn't, but I gotta talk about it. Did it feel a little bit good? Because people are talking about this could be Izzo's best team. People were talking about Xavier Booker being this Big Ten freshman of the year, maybe this top 10 pick. Did you see how he did yesterday? 5 minutes, 2 points. All I'm saying is it was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, that was the most points that Booker had in Detroit this week.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I love Spenny too because in the group chat, Spenny's like, I mean, they're pretty good. They'd be a pretty good tournament team. Like he's like trying to mentally cope with like how good JMU is.
Yeah.
I'm like, Spenny, number 4 team in the country. Wait, sorry, brother.
No. I mean, it from a rivalry standpoint, it felt good. We've been hearing with all the the scandal stuff going on. It's wait till basketball season. This is a little bit of a poke right in the stomach. Sorry, guys. James Madison got you. I don't think I do think Michigan State is going to have a good season on the court. I'm a big time Izzo fan, but yeah, to start the season as a Michigan fan, I don't mind a little jab.
Well, and I'm fully aware that as a Michigan basketball fan, yes, we missed the tournament last year. Yes, this team on paper that Michigan's going to put on the court is a lot less talented on paper, but still, like, all I hear about from Michigan State fans, and everything they want is still right in front of them. I'm not going to overreact too much, is this is Final Four or bust at absolute minimum. So even you guys, even like people clown Michigan for only beating Bowling Green by 25 at home. So I'm going to clown Michigan State a little bit for
That's
losing to
very true.
James Madison. I mean, am I wrong on that?
No, not at all.
Yes.
And I picture, in my era at Michigan, it was Zach Novak, Stu Douglas, going into East Lansing, ending their season. We got Zach Novak with the blood coming down his face. I've had some good times versus Michigan State basketball.
Yeah, big picture. It's not a big deal, but come on. If we're talking about a game, it was bad. It was bad. But appreciate you, brother, for joining the show again. Where can people find you? Socials and everything.
Just go to Woodward Sports. I'm on Twitter, and so you'll see stuff that Woodward Sports posts all the time. All my articles are on woodwardsports.com, so check them out there.
Don't forget, guys, Woodward Nights, man. If you're not watching it, what are you doing? The best night show screw Detroit in the country.
Yeah.
It's 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's Booner, Broder, Jalen, Nick, the boy. Is Nick off IR? What's going on with Nick?
Yeah, no, Nick's back.
Is he back? Okay.
We got the full crew.
Okay.
Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder every night, 8 to 10 p.m.
There you go. There's the plug. Appreciate you,
Nick woke
Broder.
up drunk as fuck downtown.
Yeah, Nick was going through it, man. Like, hey, shout out to Nick, man. He's the